Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news. All right, folks. What we're hearing right now is causing quite a buzz around the league, especially here in Atlanta. Rumor has it that the Colts are seriously considering parting ways with one of their biggest interior linemen, Quentin Nelson, and the Falcons are right there in the mix, ready to pounce. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would Atlanta be interested in a guy like Nelson? Well, let me break it down for you. Nelson, the anchor dominator, is one of the most consistent, elite guards in the NFL, and his presence could completely change the trajectory of our offensive line, which, let's be honest, has been a bit shaky lately, especially after some injuries and roster moves. The Colts, sitting at 3-6 and clearly in a rebuild, are eyeing a reset after a tough season. They've had some setbacks with quarterback Anthony Richardson's shoulder injury, which required surgery in Week 8 against the Dolphins. Their odds of making the playoffs are pretty long, sitting at plus 700, and their offensive line ranks near the bottom of the league, 28th in pass block win rate, with only about 50% success. They're looking to shed some cap space, save around $18 million to extend their defensive line, and they're open to trading Nelson, who is scheduled to be a free agent after 2025. The Colts are also eyeing future draft capital and seem ready to make a statement by moving Nelson for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. Now, the Falcons, sitting at 3-5, haven't really been able to get their offensive line stabilized. Post-deadline, their interior OL has been a bit inconsistent, especially after the addition of Stuber, who's been filling in but not quite providing the stability we need. On top of that, injuries to Anderson and Diblo have exposed some weaknesses in our run defense, which has been a concern all season. Adding a proven, elite interior lineman like Nelson could be exactly what this team needs to push us toward playoff contention and solidify our front line as a real strength. And here's where it gets interesting. Sources like Schefter are evoking whispers of similar moves made in the past, like Zach Martin's trade to the Cowboys in 2024, which turned out to be a game-changer for Dallas's offensive line. The Falcons see Nelson as a potential all-pro anchor, a guy who can bring stability, leadership, and elite performance to our interior. His track record is stellar, over 300 snaps in his career with a PFF grade of 92, 7 in 2025, allowing 0 sacks and winning about 78% of his run blocks. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, and his versatility is impressive. He's played 70% of his snaps at left guard and 30% at right guard, adding to his value. He's also known for his ability to generate yards after contact, with a YAC boost of 5.3 yards per run, and his run-blocking success rate is around 88%. This guy is an absolute mauler up front, and his presence on the line could elevate our entire offense. Imagine him anchoring the interior, freeing up our tackles and opening lanes for Bijan Robinson, which could lead to a significant boost in our ground game. His stats are eye-popping, only allowing 17% pressure rate, double-team win rate of 74%, and no sacks allowed in 2024. That's elite, folks. His ability to handle double teams and win in the trenches is comparable to some of the best interior linemen in the league, reminiscent of the prime Anthony Munoz days, but on the interior. Now, let's talk cap space. The Colts are looking to free up about $10 million, prioritizing their pass protection, and releasing Nelson makes perfect sense for them at this stage. They're projecting a 5-12 season with odds of plus 15, 0 to win the Super Bowl, clearly in rebuild mode. Meanwhile, the Falcons could potentially fit Nelson's contract within their cap structure, with about $14 million in available space, making this a plausible move from a financial perspective. It's a risk, but one that could pay off big time. Adding Nelson could be the missing piece to stabilize our interior line, which has been vulnerable at times, especially with the injuries and inconsistency we've seen. His addition could translate into a 16% increase in EPA per run, a huge boost for our ground game, and an overall upgrade to our offensive line's efficiency. And let's not forget, Nelson's presence could also be a huge psychological boost for the team. He's a guy who's never allowed a sack in 2025, and his reputation is built on relentless strength and technique. For a team like ours, with aspirations to make a deep playoff run, having a guy like Nelson anchoring the trenches could be the difference maker in close games, especially in the NFC South, where every game matters. His ability to elevate the offensive line and protect the quarterback, who, in Kirk Cousins, has shown the ability to thrive under pressure, could be invaluable. Plus, his impact on the run game, with a plus 0.8 yard per carry increase and the ability to create lanes, will help us control the clock and wear down defenses like the Panthers and others in our division. Moving forward, this trade could be the foundational piece in a larger rebuild strategy, not just for this season but for the next few years. It's about building a team that's tough, disciplined, and ready to compete with the best. The Falcons have shown flashes of brilliance this season, but they need that extra push, that veteran leadership and elite talent to push us over the top. Nelson could be that guy, anchoring our line and giving our offense a new level of consistency and firepower. Looking at the big picture, the Super Bowl odds have shifted slightly. +6, 0 early in the year, now down to around +3, 0 if this move materializes. That's a significant boost, especially considering that Nelson's career stats post-allowing sacks are impeccable. His presence could increase our red zone efficiency by around 12%, making us more lethal in scoring opportunities. This move positions us as a serious contender in the NFC South, and a team capable of making noise in the playoffs. The rivalry with Tampa Bay and New Orleans could take on a whole new dimension if we manage to build this kind of strength up front. Of course, the Colts are in a different phase. They're now looking at a future without Nelson, and their focus is on draft picks and cap flexibility. They're projected to have about $10 million in cap space after the release, and their odds for a deep playoff run are slim, with +18, 0 odds. Fans are upset about losing a player of Nelson's caliber, similar to the reaction when Kelvin Yanda's Ravens moved on from him in 2020 or when the Chiefs lost Kels to injuries. But for the Falcons, this is more than just a trade. It's about setting a foundation, building that interior strength that can carry us through the playoffs and beyond. The bottom line, if this trade happens, it's a game changer. It's about stabilizing and elevating our offensive line, creating a more balanced attack, and making a statement in the NFC South. Atlanta's future suddenly looks a lot brighter with Nelson anchoring the inside. The move fits perfectly within our cap structure, and the potential upside is huge. It's a bold step, but one that could define our season and set us up for sustained success in the years to come. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news.